Hello there! It's finally starting to get hot outside, so today we're going to be brewing a low ABV, Citra-based Session IPA. So let's get started. We'll start, as always, by gathering our mash water through a carbon RV filter. We're looking for about 4.78 gallons for this batch. After setting the boil kettle to 149 degrees, we'll adjust our water by collecting the following amounts of calcium chloride, gypsum, and Epsom salt. I'm adding a 13% charge of Vienna malt to this batch to drive the malty flavor up a little bit. This will grind along together with our base malt, which today is 87% pale 2-row. As far as mill settings go, I found that the following gives me pretty consistent results. Once everything is ground together, we'll add it to our preheated kettle and stir to make sure we don't have any grains stuck together on the bottom, affecting our overall efficiency. After adding a small splash of lactic acid to help out with our mash pH, we'll set the kettle for 60 minutes and wait. After that 60 minutes, we'll bump the kettle up to 170 degrees, and once the grain has reached that 170 degrees, it's time to pull it on out. At this point, you can go ahead and start heating your wort to boil, and while you're doing that, go ahead and pull some wort off the bottom and rinse it back through the top, just to help rinse the grains off of any sugars that might be trapped. After that, add some foam inhibitor to make sure you don't make a mess wherever you're brewing, and then it's time for the most important part of any IPA, the hop additions. And once that exciting part's over, it's time to move on to the even more exciting part of stirring and cooling down your wort. If you need to take a break from stirring, which is always an excellent idea, go ahead and fill a keg full of sanitizer to purge later, and then back to more stirring. After 40 years, when your beer is at its correct temperature, go ahead and put it in the fermenter. I'm going to use a small sanitized piece of foil to cover the blow-off hole and then shake it up. If the ambient temperature of the room you're fermenting the beer is going to stay less than our target temperature of 68 degrees, you might want to add a fermentation heater to make sure the yeast stays happy and healthy. Once verifying that the original gravity is where we want it to be, it's time to pitch our yeast, which, fittingly for a Citra IPA, we'll use Imperial's A20 Citrus. After a couple days of active fermentation, when the bubbling starts to slow down, I'll add in my dry hop addition. We'll do this during fermentation to help clean up any oxygen that gets in during the transfer. After another week or so, once the final gravity is stable and we're not detecting any off flavors, it's time to transfer. I like my IPAs pretty fresh, so once it's in the keg, cooled down and carbonated, our 4.2% Citra Session IPA is ready to drink. I think my favorite part of a Session IPA is being able to enjoy all of the hop flavor, aroma, mouthfeel that you get out of a normal IPA without feeling bad after drinking 1.5 of them. Next time I might go a little heavier on the hop additions and maybe add in some different hops to get a little bit more depth in that hop flavor. But it's a relatively quick and simple brew, using a little bit less malt than you normally would, so a little cheaper, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit.